Good morning. It's August the 4th, and I'm going to continue with answering a couple of refugee questions. And today I will do this one in English for our international friends as well. There's a couple of guys that asked me to do one in English just for the benefit of those who doesn't really follow the Afrikaans. So I'm sure everyone, the Afrikaans people, will be able to follow as well. But the next one, I'll go back to Afrikaans again. Before I start, I noticed this weekend again, a couple of people, especially out of America, South Africans living in America, making statements and a lot of things about please do not try this program and all this, trying to make people scared because of their perceptions and whatever they think about it. And I think it's just because of they are now not very happy that other people can get here on this program easier and cheaper than they used to do it. So please don't listen to those people. The program is still running. It's still working, and there's been people over and mostly making a success of this. So let's go straight to the questions. How long will the government support us when we get into the country? So the program has set there's specific limits. What they will do, they will immediately get you to a place where you're going to live, wherever they post you, and they're going to immediately start the process of getting you, helping you find a job. There's people that's going to help you find a job. They'll put you on accommodation. They'll put you on you'll get some support financially for food and all that. And obviously no program can last indefinite. So I'm sure that the first part, the financial assistance for food and all that and accommodation, is set for about 3 months. But that does not mean that in 3 months, after 3 months, they're just going to push you out in the streets. So there's a lot of other local agencies that also support and help refugees coming in. So although you may only have a support from the government for a limited time, 3 months, 4 months, I'm not sure exactly. I think it's set to 3 months for specific items. The rest you will still get some support. There's some items that you can get support for way longer than that. But that means when you get here, you need to start the process and start working. You have to do your bit. You can't just sit backwards and hope and someone's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. That's not going to happen at all. So you're going to have to put in the work. Can I transfer my heavy-duty license to a commercial license in America? No, you cannot. The only people who can transfer a commercial driver's license is an agreement with Canada and with Mexico at this time. No one else can. So if you get here, you're going to have to complete the entire process like anyone else who wants a commercial driver's license. So because the one guy asked, I might just get myself, while I'm waiting, a heavy-duty license in South Africa and come here and just convert. Now, you're going to waste your time. But you can still do that heavy-duty license in South Africa and start building up experience driving those trucks. It will just help you when you get here, but you still have to go through a school over here. There's a whole new process. FMCSA is a new process out there. I know because I'm running one of the schools. You have to go through a proper school. There's a certain sequence of events, certain time frames and all that, and you're going to go through a school, get your stuff prepared and trained on, then only you can do your CDL test, and then only you will have your commercial license. But all that cannot happen until you have legal authority to work, and you have some residency stuff that you're going to have to prove, because this is governed by Homeland Security. How does the food stamps work? Are they coupons or whatever? No, food stamps is it's a program. They'll give you a card, like it looks like a debit card or like a bank card. You can go to the store and there'll be money on it. You go to the store and you can buy specific items. You cannot buy a TV or shoes or shirts. You're going to buy food items, and specific food items only. You can't buy liquor. You can't buy some stuff. All right. So, but that will be when you go to a specific store and they see that type of card that you're going to use. They will let you know when you go through and start buying stuff that, hey, you can't buy this or this. That will actually not when you put that card for payment. It will kick out some of the stuff. So you get a card, like a bank card, with the money on it, and they will refill that money once every month for how long you will receive that support. Does your car need to be insured all the time? And do you have to keep it with you? Yes, your car has to be insured all the time, and you have to have your registration and insurance with you all the time. If you get pulled over by a policeman and you do not have your insurance and registration with you at the time, or sometimes even your driver's license, they'll give you a citation and you can go to court, and if you can prove it at court you actually had it, it was just not on your person, mostly the courts will just dismiss that, but otherwise you may get a fine, and they can take you out your car and also take your car if it's not insured. Definitely, that's what can be happen. Okay, we are a family of 4 and our mother-in-law lives with us. Can she come with us? No, she cannot, unless you can prove that she is a dependent of the family. You actually pay. But if she's your mother-in-law just living with you, because she's over the age of 18, and she's going to have to put in a statement of interest on her own. My son is in 7th grade, and he really want to attend military school. Do we have to wait to have green cards and all that for him to attend military school? Not necessarily, but when you get here, remember, there is military schools, so it's just a military school, but a bunch of other schools also have ROTC programs. So, like we had cadets in South Africa in the schools, the same thing. So, and that's a similar thing. You can use some of the ROTC students who go through the program and go through college, can join the military on that, and you will actually, when you go through the school and the ROTC program, the junior ROTC, and you do the ROTC in college, and you join the military after that, you'll actually start in as a 2nd lieutenant, as an officer, if you complete that program. But you can also join as an enlisted guy. But that program is available for just about most schools around. You will see there's a ROTC program, Reserve Officer Training College program. So if we come over and get our green cards, can we be sent back if the circumstances change? Once you receive your green card, you're a permanent resident. The only reason they'll send you back is if you become a serious criminal over here or something like that order. But no, if you have your permanent residency, you own that. So the next government or so, the next whoever president comes in after Trump, can't go and reverse stuff. If you're through the process already, that's done. They can't change that. That's just part of it. But doesn't mean you can be here and when you're still on green card status, be a criminal and all that, then you may run into problems, yes. What's the next question? My son is already in Kentucky. Will it be easier for me to come over? No, you'll be in line like anyone else. They will ask the same questions like anyone else. And then just because you already have family in America doesn't mean that you will now get it easier than someone else. They will deal with every situation individually, and you have to prove that you are prosecuted or may fear future prosecution or persecution, not prosecution. You may fear future persecution, and they will deal with that case and send you. They can, however, if you request that, say, hey, can I go live with my family, and they can support you. They will look into that to support that as well. Will everyone get a phone call who filled out a statement of interest? Most probably, yes. I'm sure they go through the process, the statement of interest, and they go through what's the minimum requirements on that. If you're not, I'm not sure 100% how it works, but remember, this is still run by humans. The human factor is still in there, so I can't guarantee and say they will definitely call you because you fill in a statement of interest. I hope so. That part I can't give actually concrete answer on that. I want to go as fast as possible. If I'm missing papers such as a high school certificate or a marriage certificate or so, will I be able to actually apply for it while I'm in America? Apply from it? You can, yes, you can. Remember, you're a refugee. You come out of a place of persecution. Most other refugees just show up with the clothes on their body. They don't have anything with them. So they'll bring you over. You will need some of that when you're here eventually. So you can apply through our consulate to get you that documents from South Africa. But the same thing you see when it, like for example, I applied for a letter for my daughter to show that she gave up her South African citizenship because she became a US citizen in 2010 when she was just 3 years old. And she needs that letter to go back to South Africa if she wants to visit. Otherwise, they will need to fly back on a South African passport. So if you denounce your citizenship, no, I filled out that request through our consulate in New York City. This is my part of the area, must go through New York City, South African consulate. I filled that paperwork out and sent them the message and stuff. I only got a phone call from them last week, and I filled it out July last year. So it still takes a long time. Like any service in South Africa, over here, if you go through our consulate, it's the same process because they work through South Africa. So you can come without those papers and request them from here. You're just going to wait a long time. And another question on that, will that have an impact on my job? Well, because I can't show proof, I have a high school diploma, will that impact job searches? Yes, it will. Some companies really need you to show a high school diploma. Some may not. They say, okay, we can see you've been an adult and we can use you, and some will try. So some may start you on a lesser salary scale and say, until they see you can do the job and push you up. It depends on company by company, but some will require a high school diploma. So if you can get any of those documents ready, get it ready now so you can bring it, but it won't stop you from coming. If I have to do more than one job, just for my lifestyle, how does the taxes work? Simple. You just pay tax on any income you have. One lady actually said, yeah, but it's not possible to do two full-time jobs. You can't do that. You can. If you can work 16 hours a day, nothing prevents you from doing an 8-hour shift in the morning at one company and an 8-hour shift in the afternoon and evening at another company. There's no rule of law here to say that you're not allowed to do more than one job. You're just going to pay tax on all of it. So any income you have, you're going to pay tax on that like normal. And also, like I said earlier, there's no age limit. Most jobs in America does not have an age limit as a mandatory retirement. You can go as long as you can and you're able and willing to work. Will they let me do courses to better myself while I'm there under the program? No, they're not going to put you in a school here and look after you as a refugee and put you in school and get you some courses to qualify. They're going to find you a job so you can get on your own feet. Once you're on your own feet, they're going to get you like a job accommodation so you can take care of yourself. Once you can take care of yourself, there is programs in cities and towns where they offer classes and so on for people who come over as immigrants or refugees to get some classes cheaper or for free. So just in the community where you are, you may have community assistance for that, but the government's not going to pay to put you through school to better yourself just because you came in as a refugee. How's the public transport or Uber, because it may take me a while to get a car when I get here. Depends on the town and the city you are. Some public transports are very excellent. Some is a little slower, or some is not very good. I'm not talking about not very good, but not as available as other. Like for example, where I live, public transportation is not as available as in New York City, for example. New York City, you walk on the street corner, you're going to get a bus in 7 minutes. My town here in Nashville, you walk to a city corner, you're going to get a bus every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, depends on time of the day. You won't get a bus at 2 in the morning because there's none running at 2 in the morning. But there is Uber and all the other facilities, so you'll be able to get around and your agent will help you to find transportation and all that. Will victims of farm murders be processed first? Nope. Just because you're a victim of a farm murder doesn't mean you will be moved up the head of the line and be processed first. No, everyone will be processed as the applications come through. After interest of a statement come through, they work through them down a list. there's not going to be preference for this person over that person because of certain circumstances. So that's my questions and answers for today. You can share this with your friends and so on if you want to follow. And then also just comment on this one, and I'll look at those questions and answer that next in about 2 or 3 days. Thank you.